RobLobster.
Hey, would you look at that? I now have a little intro for my little web series. Isn't that neat? I'm now actually looking for a gimmick to actually go onto my web series. Yeah, I got these little red shades. These little window shades. This is like the best I can come up with. Like, I mean, I have like those little caps, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there have that. This is like the only thing I could find. I mean, I could wear a furry coat. Maybe that may be funny. Hi, another week has gone by, and now I'm on my second week. How was your week? Let's see, what did I do this week? Oh, this week I actually went to the zoo after a couple years. Haven't been back there in a while. The zoo is actually really fun. Seems a lot different than the last time I went back. I actually got to see my favorite animals. I got to see the otter exhibit.
I love you. Let me be a part of your family.
I tend not to act like myself when there's otters involved. Like I think otters are like my spirit animal. Or lobsters. Maybe like an obster otter. Or a lobster otter. That sounds weird. It's like, could that be like a possible Pokemon or something? That'd be neat. I would so have that as my starter. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I feel a little weirded out when I get stared at. And I'm not talking like stared at by like, you know, individuals who have actually good physiques, you know, they actually have approachable faces. Like, I've noticed that I've been stared at by these, like, interesting individuals. And by individuals, I mean folks who look like their face is wondering how they are able to breathe. So, when I was trying to leave work, I was sitting in the parking lot, and while trying to leave this crowded parking lot, I had to wait on these 3 teenagers. So out of those 3 teenagers, one of them was a female, and the other 2 were males. Well, the other fella was the typical teenager who has to wear the baggy clothes, who thinks he's straight up OG gangsta. By OG gangsta, I mean he's wearing like the DC cap, he's got some kind of like Nike shirt and baggy pants, and of course he's white. This kid was wearing these saucer bowl aviators as well. Okay, so anyway, while I'm trying to leave this parking lot, I kind of backed out just a wee bit, but they kind of like stopped and stared to look at me. The other 2 didn't pay no mind, but the other kid with the glasses kind of just stared at me. Even when I'm in my car, he managed to like pinpoint my position and just stare at me. Now, I'm not talking like people staring at me are weird, but this kid kind of made me feel uncomfortable. This is one of those people that like, they don't have a deformity, they're just like, have you ever heard of that story where if whenever you make a face, it sticks? Well, this is kind of how I figured. Well, I noticed and looking at him, this kid just had no chin. I was like, where his jaw is, like his upper lip is like sticking out. He didn't even know where he was. So while I was trying to back out to check to see if the teenagers were in the clear, I looked back to see if the 3 teenagers, and guess what? The teenager with the glasses kind of looked back at me again, and he wasn't doing like, you know, the normal like turning your neck or something. He was doing like the thing you'd see on Batman where he doesn't turn his, and he doesn't even have a neck bone. He just turns his entire torso. I mean, what is that? Another incident happened was when we were at the zoo. There was this little kid just staring at the exhibit, and I'm looking at him, like, hey, do you like jellyfish as well? And so, you know, it does the typical kid. He kind of looks up at you and just stares. And this is like the type of staring where he's like looking into your soul, like he wants to like steal my innocence. So while this kid is looking at me, like I think he's staring into my soul, it's like, again, with the mouth open. What is up with that? Why do you have to have your mouth open when you're staring at something? It's like turkey staring at a rainfall. Snot's running down his nose. And you know, he's been doing this for like 2 minutes. Like I'll like look back, do this, kind of check to see if he's staring at me or not. And so like, you know, I try to be friendly. I'm just saying like, hey, do you like jellyfish as well? I like looking at jellyfish. The only response I get from the kid is this. The kid lets out the most ear-piercing shriek I have ever heard in my entire life. Great, I ask a kid a nice friendly question. You know what I get? Bleeding ears! So the kid runs off to the mother, and she like stares back at me like I was a villain. Yes, ma'am, it is exactly my fault that your spawn decided to shriek at the top of its lungs. That dinner plate scratches and nails on the chalkboard sound a lot sweeter and delicious than what I just heard. Thank you, ma'am, for your little spawn's bleeding ear-piercing screech. Your child's screech was super effective. My ears are now bleeding! So after that, I've kind of come up with a thing to where whenever someone else stares at me with their mouth open, I'm just going to do the response with just the same thing. I'm just going to have a copycat image of just what their face would look like. I want to see if they feel uncomfortable like how I feel uncomfortable. Maybe I should make the face like the guy from the Enzyme commercials. So anyway, that's all I have to say for today, and I will see you next week. See you later, people. My god, that was so stupid. Hey, I forgot to mention to wish you all a Happy New Year last week, and I hope your Christmases were very well. Oh, I had a fantastic Christmas, and I hope you had as well. What's that? I actually have a Christmas picture of me that you want to share? Oh, okay, I have a picture to share with everyone. Here, take a look. What the hell is that? What kind of picture is that? That's not happy and jolly. That's like me being pissed after working a 12-hour shift at my job. You really can't find another picture? That's like the best picture you have?